So this is something that we should have talked about when we were talking about copying DNA and using it to make proteins to do gene expression. But the question comes up, how do all the 37 trillion cells in our body have the exact same DNA? They have this whole long DNA with like 30,000 genes and like millions of A's and T's and G's and C's. Can they look and act so differently? Like a muscle cell, a blood cell, a nerve cell, a sperm cell, a skin cell. They are all so different. They look different. They act different. They do different jobs. They're in different parts of your body. So how can they have the same DNA but be made from totally different proteins? Any guesses? The answer is gene expression, that they express different genes in the DNA. So every cell, like this unknown cell, skin cell, liver cell, fat cell, brain cell, all the cells in your body have the same DNA. They all have the same DNA, but they use different parts of it. Okay, so a skin cell maybe uses this gene, this section, and this section. A liver cell uses this one and this one. Maybe a fat cell uses this gene and this gene and this gene. And maybe a brain cell uses this gene, and this gene. Okay, so just an example. So maybe they only make the protein that makes them look like, a brain cell, or they only use the protein that makes them look and act like a blood cell. So I'm going to go back there. Let's see. So if this were your unknown cell and you were trying to figure out, well, what kind of cell is this unknown? You'd go, okay, it expresses this one, and this one. Must be, it's using the same as the fat cell. So this must be a fat cell. So if your answer is, how can, if your question is, how can your cells have the exact same DNA but look and act totally different? It's because they use different parts of the DNA. Well, what does that look like? Well, remember, if you're using or expressing different parts of the DNA, when you express DNA, you're really just making different genes. So if a portion of DNA is turned on in a fat cell, so maybe this one, and this one, like we said, if that's the DNA, the genes that are turned on or used or expressed in a fat cell, then those are the ones that are going to get copied to make RNA. And then that messenger RNA is going to go to the ribosome to make that protein. So it's going to make the proteins that you need in a fat cell instead of the proteins that you need in a blood cell. All right. So what do we call this? We call this differentiation. So what do we call it when different cells use different parts of the DNA to make different proteins, which have different jobs, and then make them look different and act different? Well, we're going to call it differentiation, which I actually spelled wrong there. Okay, so it's called differentiation when you use different parts of the genes to make different cells with different proteins and different jobs. Differentiation. Same DNA, different parts, different cells.